Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. On February 16th, the people of Nigeria will vote for president in the National Assembly consisting of both the House of Representatives and the Senate. For the presidency, there are two main candidates that are going to be running. They are Muhammadu Buhari, who will represent the left-wing party, the All Progressives Congress, or the APC, and Atiku Abubakar, who will represent the right-wing People's Democratic Party, or the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Muhammadu Buhari is the incumbent, and he has also been a military dictator back in the 1980s. However, he was elected in 2015, deposing the former president, Goodluck Jonathan. The main issue for this election is the economy. According to VOA News, the Nigerian unemployment rate grew by 4% in the last quarter of 2018. To put that in perspective, that's the same amount of percentage of total Americans who are unemployed. The rate has climbed up higher over the past 4 years since Buhari was elected into office in 2015. And even the youth, who normally are very left-wing, are not impressed with this, as many people have called for him to resign or not run. Normally people would swoon over someone like Buhari with the left-wing politics, like someone like Bernie Sanders. However, this is not the case. Abubakar, on the other hand, is a businessman. However, he was the vice president for about 5 years in the late 90s, early 2000s. He really isn't like your average politician, however. He's more of a outsider, but not really. However, he's also very invested into the youth, just like Buhari is. However, Abubakar is not like your Hillary Clinton-style candidate who is trying to appeal to the radical youth, but he isn't. I mean, he hasn't said Pokemon go to the polls yet. How bad could it be? The plan he has for the economy of Nigeria is to get it under control and raise the GDP growth rate up and stabilize the Naira, the currency, which in 2013 was worth about 150 US dollar, 150 Naira equaling 150 Naira equals $1 US. Today, it's over 300 Nairas to $1 US. That's an 8% inflation rate, which is absolutely not good. Put it in perspective, the American inflation rate is 2%. Both candidates in the election are Muslim. However, their vice presidential candidates are Christian, and this is very important because Nigeria is one of the most religiously, tight and very, very close when it comes to religious tensions, as there is equal amount of representation among Muslims and Christians. And Buhari isn't really taking the election serious at all. He didn't even show up for the debate that Abubakar did. However, Abubakar's slogan is, "Get Nigeria back to work." I mean, what's next? Building a wall border in Benin? Please don't do it. That would be really stupid. Hey, that's not funny. Benin's getting on their feet. Well, Nigeria is the largest country in population in Africa and has one of the largest economies. In fact, it is now the largest economy in all of Africa, surpassing South Africa. It basically now is the United States of Sub-Saharan Africa. And it's very important you pay attention. It is the U.S. of Western Africa and maybe all of Africa. Personally, you probably can guess, I will be hoping that Abubakar wins. However, if someone else wins, I won't really care because I feel that this election is going to be very fair and will be a legit election, which is very hard to say when it comes to Africa. But Nigeria has definitely had something. Now, one of the big criticisms is that both candidates are old. Buhari is 76 years old, while Abubakar himself is 72 years old, which is going to be very, very tough because a lot of people want a younger candidate. But if I was a Nigerian, I would say maybe it's a one-term thing, and we can see if someone young is going to come up. And obviously, I'm going to be open to your thoughts and your comments. One of the biggest criticisms from the West is that Abubakar's party isn't very LGBT friendly. Like, if you think the Republican Party in the U.S. is bad, you haven't seen any of the Nigerian parties. Nigeria is a very, very conservative, socially country. I mean, you look, Muslims and Christians are very devout, and what it means is that there's going to be some tensions when it comes especially to the LGBT population. However, I don't think that Buhari or Abubakar are going to be trying to exterminate the gays like they do in Uganda. I think they're going to probably, if they're going to do anything, they might just let it slide, not really enforce it that much. But overall, I think that if we just start slowly changing the minds of the people, it'll work. I mean, that's what happened in the U.S. It's not going to happen overnight, but it could happen. It takes years. However, one of the things that I'm kind of critical about Buhari is that one of his goals is to have 35% of the representation of the legislature being women. This awfully sounds a lot familiar to what Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, did with his cabinet, making it genderly equal. Obviously, I'm open to having women in Congress. I think if they're qualified and they are the best candidate over someone else, why not have a woman in there? I mean, one of my favorite politicians of all time is Condoleezza Rice. And I honestly think she would be a great president of the United States. But she doesn't want to, and I respect that decision. However, when you get someone who is unqualified, has no idea what they're doing, that's when you have realized you've jumped the shark in terms of political ideology being your main thing instead of having, quality people. I mean, hey, the U.S. did it, so why not let Nigeria? You're making fun of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Yes, I did. I live in a free country. I can make fun of politicians. And if she wants to... And why is she watching someone with, 1 subscriber? Shouldn't she be focusing on actually running our country or running her district? I mean, that's something we have to worry about. You have to do your job first. And, yeah. That's pretty much it with this preview. If you're in Nigeria and you have a different perspective on that, go ahead and vote and just leave me in the comments. Who do you think is going to win and who do you want to win? Leave that also in the comments below. I personally think of the main candidates, Abubakar has the best chance, in my opinion, who I think I would rather win. But if Buhari wins, it's not going to be the end of the world. I mean, this is a democracy in Nigeria. I mean, it might not be the best situation, but it could be worse. I mean, it could be like Somalia, where there's no government, or North Korea, where there's no freedom. But Nigeria, to me, is the country you do have to keep your eye on. This is the largest country in Sub-Saharan Africa when it comes to population, and it is one of the powerhouses of economic, and really we need to keep our eye on it. So if you're just saying, it's just another Sub-Saharan African election, you're wrong. This is probably the most important one. So leave your comments below, and if you want to check out my El Salvador recap, where I talk about what that went on, it's a lot less, it's more straightforward, but just leave your comments, and yeah, that'll be all. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.